long before the Olympian gods. Before Zeus hurled his first thunderbolt, before even time itself took shape, there was Nyx, the primordial goddess of night, of dreams, of shadow, and silence. In this video, we re-diving deep into one of the most powerful and least understood figures in Greek mythology, Nyx, and how she connects to the dream world, feminine energy, and the mystical archetypes that appear in our subconscious. Whether you're drawn to shadow work, divine feminine mysticism, or you're simply trying to decode recurring dream symbols, this journey through myth and meaning will offer you powerful insight. Before Olympus rose, before Apollo's sun, before Athena's wisdom or Poseidon's seas, there was only chaos. Not chaos in the sense of destruction, but the primordial void, a cosmic womb of potential. From that infinite silence came Nyx, the first darkness. She wasn't born into the night. She was the night. Where other gods would gain power through worship or war, Nyx was different. She never needed temples or fanfare. Her strength came from being eternal, inevitable, a force that touches every soul the moment the sun disappears. She rides a shadowy chariot across the sky each night, draping the world in velvet black wings, a presence not of fear, but of reverence. Even the stars blink quietly in her wake. Even Zeus, king of the Olympian gods, feared her. There's a famous myth when Zeus became angry with Hypnos, the god of sleep, for helping Hera trick him, and Hypnos fled. But he didn't run to Mount Olympus. He ran home, to his mother, Nyx. And Zeus backed off, because not even the god of thunder would risk upsetting the goddess of shadow. Nyx never needed to raise her voice. Her power is the type that whispers in dreams, the kind that waits in silence, shaping fates from behind the veil. She lived at the edge of the world, in a cave untouched by daylight. From this sacred place, outside of space and time, she gave birth to a lineage of divine forces, a pantheon of powers that rule not just myth, but the very emotions and energies we encounter in our dreams and inner world. Her children include Hypnos, god of sleep; Thanatos, god of peaceful death; Morpheus, god of dreams; Nemesis, goddess of retribution; Moros, spirit of doom and destiny; the Moirai, also known as the Fates, those who spin and cut the thread of every mortal life. Each of these beings represents a spiritual archetype that still appears in our lives today. And when we sleep, when we dream, we often encounter these forces symbolically, even if we don't know their names. Nyx, in many ways, is the mother of the unconscious, the womb of mystery, the original portal to the dream realm. To the ancient Greeks, she wasn't evil. She wasn't darkness as we fear it today. She was the sacred unknown, the divine night. So the next time the world goes quiet, and you feel the strange pull of your dreams calling you inward, maybe it's not just darkness, maybe it's Nyx, whispering through the silence, guiding your soul through shadow toward truth. Nyx isn't just an ancient mythological figure. She's a living archetype of something we are being called to remember, the sacred, mysterious power of the divine feminine. She existed before the gods we usually think of as powerful, before Zeus, Hera, or Athena. She was born from chaos, the original void, the same void that spiritual seekers and mystics throughout the ages have spoken of. That space of stillness we enter in meditation, in darkness, in dreams. Nyx is that space. She is the womb of cosmic silence, the moment before creation, when everything is nothing and yet everything could be. In many ways, Nyx is not just the goddess of night. She is the goddess of shadow, of intuition, and of that inner knowing that can't be explained, only felt. And in today's world, where so much emphasis is placed on logic, light, and outward expression, Nyx reminds us of the power of going within, of embracing the quiet, the unknown, the inner realm. That's why she's so aligned with shadow work, the spiritual practice of facing the hidden, repressed, or unacknowledged parts of ourselves. Just like the night hides what the day reveals, shadow work invites us to meet our own darkness, not to fear it, but to integrate it. And Nyx becomes our guide through that process. She represents intuition, that deep, nonverbal wisdom that comes not from thinking, but from feeling. Rebirth through stillness, like the seed buried in the dark soil, or the soul cocooned in a dream. The feminine power that creates, not through force, but through presence. This makes her incredibly important in the context of spiritual awakening. Because awakening isn't all light and joy. Sometimes it begins with a descent into the void, a dark night of the soul, a spiritual silence where you feel lost, confused, or disconnected. But it's in that very space that the voice of Nyx can be felt. She doesn't speak in words. She speaks in symbols, in dreams, in the knowing that rises in your chest at 2 a.m. when the world is silent. In that way, she is the perfect archetype for feminine spiritual seekers who are reclaiming their inner power, not as something loud and visible, but as something deeply rooted, mystical, and sovereign. If you're navigating shadow work, learning to trust your intuitive voice, or simply sitting in that still space between one version of yourself and the next, Nyx walks with you. And her presence in mythology isn't just historical, it's instructional. She teaches us how to rest, how to reflect, and how to transform in darkness without fear. Because the night doesn't swallow us, it wraps us in its arms until we're ready to rise again. Now let's dive into the dream realm itself, where Nyx's influence takes form. In myth, Nyx gave birth to a pantheon of shadowy, abstract beings, and each of them still appears to us, not in temples or rituals, but in the space where she reigns supreme, our dreams. Every night, we drift into her kingdom, and there, her children walk among us, as symbols, as messengers, as archetypes echoing across time and consciousness. Hypnos is the god of sleep, and perhaps the gentlest of Nyx's children. When he shows up in dreams, he often represents rest, surrender, or the invitation to let go. A figure resembling Hypnos might appear in your dream as a soothing presence, a quiet guide, or even an atmosphere of deep silence. Dreams under Hypnos' influence are often vivid but calm, a message from the soul that you are safe to rest and receive. Thanatos is not death as fear or destruction, but death as transition. When we dream of dying, or of someone gently leading us into the unknown, it's often Thanatos behind the veil. He symbolizes spiritual transformation, the ending of an old identity, or a passage into a new phase of life. Seeing a peaceful death in a dream is rarely about literal death. Instead, it's about shedding what no longer serves you. Moros is the heavy energy of fate, of things unfolding no matter what we do. If your dreams carry a feeling of dread, repetition, or unavoidable outcome, you may be touching the edge of Moros. But this isn't punishment. It's an opportunity. Moros invites you to recognize where you're resisting change, and where surrender might be the very thing that frees you. He appears not to curse you, but to show you where you still cling. Nemesis is often misunderstood. She isn't just vengeance. She is the sacred rebalancing force of the universe. When she appears in dreams, it may take the form of karma, justice, or being called to account. Ever have a dream where you're judged, or where something you thought was over comes back in symbolic form? That could be Nemesis, restoring energetic equilibrium. Then there are the Moirai, the Fates, 3 sisters who spin, measure, and cut the thread of every life. In dreams, they may not show up as old women with scissors, but as symbols of destiny, a thread, a tapestry, a wheel, or moments that feel incredibly significant, even when you don't know why. To dream of them is to dream of your own soul contract, the blueprint your spirit chose before birth. These aren't just gods and myths. They are archetypal forces your soul already understands. When you dream of a mysterious guide, a quiet death, an inescapable situation, or a moment of divine justice, you're not imagining it. You may be meeting one of Nyx's children, arriving not to frighten, but to help you interpret the emotional and spiritual energies moving through your life. These figures personify what you're feeling, what you're resisting, and what you're ready to embrace. Understanding them helps turn your dreams from random images into spiritual messages, rich with symbolic meaning and full of power. So the next time you wake from a dream, feeling haunted, comforted, or strangely changed, ask yourself, who came through the night to find me? Because in the darkness of dreams, you are never alone. And Nyx, the primordial dream mother, still watches over her realm. She is the dark mirror in which we meet ourselves. She is the sacred night that births dreams, death, and destiny. And if you've been dreaming of strange figures, intense symbols, or emotional undercurrents, you may be walking through the mythic gates of her domain. Let the night speak. Let the symbols rise. Nyx is waiting. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, please like and subscribe so you don't miss more deep dives into the realm of dreams and spirituality. I also offer personalized dream interpretation services that go beyond surface level analysis on my website, noeticmystic.com. Together, we'll uncover the spiritual guidance hidden in your dreams and help you align with the deeper wisdom trying to reach you. Links will be down in the description. Until next time, my noetic mystics, may your dreams illuminate the path ahead.